ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 ॐ नमो
ॐ भगवते वासुदेवाय।
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नारायणं नमस्कृत्य
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
नरं चैव नरोत्तमं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं
ततो जयमुदीरयेत्।
ततो
ततो जयम् अजिङ्क्येत्।
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
नित्यं भागवत सेवया
भगवतेरुत्तमश्लोके
भगवते
उत्तमश्लोके
उत्तमश्लोके
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी।
भक्तिर्भवति नमः।
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय
सखीनन्दनाय च
देवकीनन्दनाय च
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
नन्दगोपकुमाराय
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
गोविन्दाय नमो नमः।
Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण
Thank you everyone for joining the study of Bhagavatam. So we'll continue the second chapter, discussion between Vidura and Uddhava. Uddhava was inquiring about Pandavas and Yadus and ultimately Lord Krishna. And then Uddhava expressed about his love for Lord Krishna in the last few verses. He will continue that. So even though Uddhava had seen what happened with Lord towards the end, how he left the world, but when inquired about Lord, instead of speaking about Lord's passing, as per the question, he could have just spoken about what happened in the last. Uddhava was remembering Lord's pastimes from his very childhood. So those verses are being studied now. So we'll start with that. वासुदेवस्य देवक्यां
वासुदेवस्य देवक्यां
जातो भोजेन्द्रबन्धने
जातो भोजेन्द्रबन्धने
चिकीर्षुर्भगवानस्य
चिकीर्षु भगवान् अयस्य
श्यामजेनाभियाचिता.
श्याम
श्यामजेन आयुच्यत.
Yeah, please read.
The personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, being prayed to by Brahma to bring welfare to the earth, was begotten by Vasudeva in the womb of his wife Devaki, in the presence of the king of Bhuja.
So the Lord's birth is not an easy one. He is born in the womb of Devaki, and Vasudeva is his father, original birth father, and he was born in a jail, in the prison of King of Bhoja, Kamsa's father. So he is born in a prison house. He begins with that.
The Lord has no business in this world, but when he is so requested by devotees like Brahma, he descends to the earth for the welfare of the entire universe. This is stated in Bhagavad Gita. पवित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे.
Yeah. So Lord comes for two purposes. One is to establish dharma. Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkritam. Vinashaya cha dushkritam means to eliminate the unwanted miscreants and to protect the devotees, sadhuna. These are the three purposes. And Lord came by the prayer of Lord Brahma to bring the welfare to the earth. Right? So when earth is burdened by miscreants, very bad kings, Lord appears. So similarly, towards the end of Kali Yuga, it is mentioned that the society will be very degraded, especially because of the bad rulers. And Lord again comes in the form of Kalki to just kill all these, animalistic kings and start the Satyuga. Right? When the society degrades, Lord comes and uplifts to re-establish the Dharma. Right? Yeah, he's born. Tato Nanda Vrajam Ita
Tato Nanda Vrajam Ita
Pitra Kamsa Vibhibhyateya
Pitra Kamsa
Saad
Vibhita
Ekadasa Samastatra
Ekadasa
Sastra
Samastatra
Godharchi Sabalo Vasat.
Lokavachi Sabalo
Vasat.
Translation. Thereafter, his father, being afraid of Kamsa, brought him to the cow pastures of Maharaj Nanda. And there he lived for 11 years like a covered flame with his elder brother Baldev.
So Lord reciprocated with the fear of Vasudeva. Vasudeva had a fear that Kamsa would harm his child. Who can really harm Lord Vishnu? Yeah? In the prison house itself, Lord immediately transformed into a four-handed Vishnu form and assured that he has come to unburden the earth and eliminate the miscreants, and he doesn't need to fear, and he can be transferred to Nanda Maharaj's home. But out of fatherly affection, Vasudeva felt that it is his duty to protect, and he takes the child in his lap and crosses the waters and reaches Nanda Maharaj's home and keeps the child there. Right? And Lord lived in Braja for 11 years. It was very, very sweet pastimes. For 11 years, he performs wonderful sweet pastimes, killing so many demons and performing so many sweet pastimes with cows, covered boys, and covered girls. Right? Historical. So, and he lived like a covered flame with his elder brother Baladeva. Right? So, why covered flame? Because even though he is the Supreme Lord, nobody in Vrindavan accepted him as Supreme Lord. Everybody accepted him like one of the child, their own child, loving child. They all loved him, but they never treated him like God. Right. Like they used to sometimes there are pastimes where Lord would just engulf the entire forest fire, or he would kill a great snake, or kill a big demon, and then his friends, covered boys, they would see, and he's the same boy, no? We were defeating him, no, yesterday in the fight. Same boy. He's not different. So that's how they never were treating him Lord as the Supreme Lord. They were always treating him as one of their family member, their loved one, like one of them, right? Yeah. So that is how he was treated as a covered flame. Yeah. And Sridham, after when Lord Krishna fought with Chanura and Mustika, right? That fight when that some covered boys also come there. Sridham sees him, and Sridham comes back and tests Krishna whether you are really stronger than me. And Sridham defeats Krishna. Then he's clear. Okay, yeah, it's same our Krishna only.
Mm.
So like that, they always treated him with love rather than with awe and reverence.
Put by His Divine Grace, A.C. Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Lord Krishna is not affected by such determination of men or such determination of men of Kamsa's class. But in order to play the role of a child, he agreed to be carried by his father to the cow pastures of Nanda Maharaj. Because Vasudeva was afraid of Kamsa, Nanda Maharaj was due to receive him as his child, and Yashoda Mai was also to enjoy the childhood pastimes of the Lord. And therefore, to fulfill everyone's desire, he was carried from Mathura to Vrindavana. Just after his appearance in the prison house of Kamsa. He lived there for 11 years and completed all his fascinating pastimes of childhood, boyhood, and adolescence with his elder brother, Lord Baldeva. His first expansion. Vasudeva's thought of protecting Krishna from the wrath of Kamsa is part of a transcendental relationship. The Lord enjoys more when someone takes him as his subordinate son who needs the protection of a father than he does when someone accepts him as his supreme Lord. He is the father of everyone and he protects everyone. But when his devotee takes it for granted that the Lord is to be protected by the devotee's care, it is transcendental joy for the Lord.
Yeah, this is out of transcendental love for his devotees. Lord would reciprocate with each individual devotee according to his particular relation. For Vasudeva, he was always concerned about the safety of Lord Krishna. He was afraid of Kamsa. To reciprocate, Lord accepted him, uh, you know, to his desire and let him bring him uh, to Nanda Maharaj's home. Right? And Lord always takes subordinate position. He takes subordinate position with Arjuna. Right? He is ready to become his chariot driver. Chariot driver is not a big position, especially all the big warriors are fighting and Lord just witnesses. In fact, he killed everybody before itself, in the Bhagavad Gita he shows. But he wants his devotee to get the credit and he's ready to become a menial servant and just be just a chariot driver. Huh? He's happy with that. He just want to see his children like Arjuna to take the full credit and be the heroes of the war, not himself. Right? In the entire Mahabharata, even though Lord Krishna killed so many demons, the more focus is always on the battle of Kurukshetra and how Pandavas were the heroes who killed all the Kauravas. So Lord enjoys such spirit. When Yudhishthir Maharaj would perform Rajasuya Yagna, right? Yudhishthir is being coronated as the king of the entire world. Lord was so happy. In fact, he is the supreme Lord of all the universes. But you know what he did? He goes there and everybody was taking in charge of one department. Bhima would take care of the department of cooking and Arjuna was receiving the guests and Lord Krishna would be happy to wash the feet of all the received guests. Lord Krishna would wash the feet of received guests. That was the role he has taken. You can imagine, like, Lord coming to the level of, he doesn't have any, there is no concept of ego or anything there. Just happy to serve under his devotees, even to the extent of washing the feet of his guests. So that is the pleasure. Lord is so happy to do his service that way. So that is the nature of our Lord. He always reciprocates with his devotees. Parito Vatsapair Vatsams
Parito
Charayan Vyaharat Vibhu
Charayan
Yan
Vibhu
Yarat Vibhu
Monopavane Kujat
Yamuno Pavane
Pavani
Kusat
Pujat
Dvijasankulitam Gripe.
Ija Sankulitan Gripe. In his childhood, the Almighty Lord was surrounded by cowherd boys and cows, and thus he traveled on the shore of the Yamuna River through gardens densely covered with trees and filled with vibrations of chirping birds.
Yeah, so these are the sweet pastimes in Vrindavana that Lord has performed. Lord would take care of cows. Lord can take care of big cows, but Nanda Maharaj felt that Krishna should take care of baby cows. So he would take them and play with them playfully. And when he would do flute singing, all the animals would be so joyful. Not only with you know the covered boys, he would be very loving towards all the animals and birds in Vrindavan. Everybody would be mesmerized by the flute song of Lord. Every day he would sing in the evening and charm the hearts of all the living entities through the gardens densely covered with trees filled with vibrations of chirping birds. This is the atmosphere of Vrindavan. Yeah.
These cowherd boys were great rishis and yogis in their previous births, and after many such pious births, they gained the association of the Lord and could play with him on equal terms. Such cowherd boys never cared to know who Krishna was, but they played with him as a most intimate and lovable friend. They were so fond of the Lord that at night they would only think of the next morning when they would be able to meet the Lord and go together to the forest for cowherding. The forest on the shore of the Yamuna are all beautiful gardens full of trees of mango, jackfruit, apples, and guava, oranges, grapes, berries, palm fruit, and so many other plants and fragrant flowers. And because the forest was on the bank of the Yamuna, naturally there were ducks, cranes, and peacocks on the branches of the trees. All these trees and birds and beasts were pious living entities born in the transcendental abode of Vrindavan just to give pleasure to the Lord and his eternal associate, the cowherd boys.
These covered boys are not ordinary. They're all great rishis. They earned their credit to be born alongside with Krishna to perform sweet pastimes. They never treated him as the Lord. They're always on equal terms with Lord. And all these animals. So this is the atmosphere of Vrindavana. And this is what should attract. Our aim should be like that. Every morning we should look forward to this day when we will be with Krishna again. Wake up to his flute song and play with him and be with him all the time. That is the life we should aspire for. We shouldn't be just worried about living in this world. This is the real life. This is what our birthright is. Yeah.
As a small particle of fire can kindle a great fire with the fuel, so the Lord killed all these great demons, beginning from his babyhood in the house of Nanda Maharaja. The land of Vrindavana, the Lord's childhood playground, still remains today, and anyone who visits these places enjoys the same transcendental bliss, although the Lord is not physically visible to our imperfect eyes. Lord Chaitanya recommended this land of the Lord as identical with the Lord and therefore worshipable by the devotees. This instruction is taken up especially by the followers of Lord Chaitanya, known as Gaudiva
Gaudiya
Vaishnavas.
Yeah.
And because the land is identical with the Lord, devotees like Uddhava and Vidura visited these places 5,000 years ago in order to have direct contact with the Lord, visible or not visible. Thousands of devotees of the Lord are still wandering in these sacred places of Vrindavan, and all of them are preparing themselves to go back home, back to Godhead.
Yeah. So all of us, we should also regularly visit these sacred places like Vrindavana. That will keep our inspiration strong. It will, right now, especially Srila Prabhupada suggested that at least, once a year, all the devotees should visit Vrindavan, especially in Kartik, for at least for a few days. That is to just, it's like people of this world, they go to various places like Europe and, Mexico or Canada, various places to just relax, right? And devotees to recharge their spiritual life, they go to pilgrimage sites, especially places like Vrindavana, where the devotional potency is very strong. Just by staying for a few days, we will be completely, changed. Actually, our commitment and our faith will develop very strongly. Yeah. So because of the potency of the Dham, many pure devotees have chanted in that, sacred atmosphere, so that the place has very high potency to purify us. Kaumarim chestam
Kaumarim Yasyam Setim
prekshaniyam rajaukasam
Prekshanayam
rudan iva hasan mugdha
Udaniva Hasan Mugdha
balasimhavalokana.
Malokana.
When the Lord displayed his activities just suitable for childhood, he was visible only to the residents of Vrindavan. Sometimes he would cry and sometimes laugh just like a child, and while so doing, he would appear like a lion cub.
Yeah. So Lord was, even though he was Supreme Lord, he was just like doing activities pleasing to the parents. Sometimes he would bring the shoes of his father on his head. He would carry the, the shoes of Nanda Maharaj on his head. And sometimes he would be stealing butter, and he would be afraid his mother would beat him. That is the Damodara pastime we are singing every day. Yeah, in this way, he was performing very sweet pastimes. He would cry, sometimes laugh, just like any child. But he would also kill the demons uh, like nothing, like a fig of feather. He's like a lion cub. Yeah.
If anyone wants to enjoy the childhood pastimes of the Lord, then he has to follow in the footsteps of the residents of Vrindavan like Nanda, Upananda, and other parental inhabitants. A child may insist on having something and cry like anything to get it, disturbing the whole neighborhood, and then immediately after achieving the desired thing, he laughs. Such crying and laughing is enjoyable to the parents and elderly members of the family. So the Lord would simultaneously cry and laugh in this way and merge his devotee parents in the humor of transcendental pressure.
All the residents of Vrindavana would treat Krishna with more love than their own children. That was the, but he would make them all cry also at the same time. But still they would enjoy, he would um, he would steal, or he would do, play pranks with their children. Whatever it is, still they wanted and loved whatever Lord did.
These incidents are enjoyable only by the residents of Ramda, like Nanda Maharaja, and not by the impersonate worships of Brahman or Paramatma. Sometimes, when attacked in the forest by demon, Krishna would appear struck with wonder, but he looked on them like the cub of a lion and killed them. His childhood companions would also be struck with wonder, and when they came back home, they would narrate the story to their parents, and everyone would appreciate the qualities of their Krishna.
Yeah, there are many such wonderful pastimes Lord did. Sa eva godhanam lakshmya
Tava eva godinyam
Eva
lakshmai
Bodhanam Snyam
niketam sita govrisham
Niketam
Tam
Sita
Sita
Govrinda
Gaurasam
charayan anugan gopan
Sharanam
Charayam
Anugan
Anugan
Anugam
Gopan
ranadvenur ariramat.
Ranatve
Ranadvedunu
Vinurarina.
Ariramat.
Yeah, please read.
While herding the very beautiful bulls, the Lord, who was the reservoir of all opulence and fortune, used to blow his flute, and thus he enlivened his faithful followers, the cowherd boys.
Yeah, is Venu. So everybody would be enlivened. All the, especially, all the covered boys and girls, everybody would be stunned whenever Lord plays on his flute. Uh, Whatever they were doing, for example, gopis are getting ready, or you know, uh, taking care of household chores or cooking. Whatever they were doing, their heart would just be in full remembrance of Lord, and longing to see the Lord. you know. Whenever Lord would come back from the pasture grounds in the evenings, with all the dust covering his face and his hair, everybody in the Vrindavan village would be eagerly waiting to see the Lord, more so than their own children with their calves. Uh, so that was the sweetness of pastimes that Lord, everybody, he was the eye candy of everyone as a child. Yeah, just his presence would enliven everyone, uh, all his faithful followers and covered boys, and the boys would be just around him all the time. Yeah. Because Lord would make jokes, make fun of them, or play with them, tussle with them. It was just transcendental joy for everyone. Continue.
He was the son of a well to do landholder who owned hundreds and thousands of cows. And according to Vedic economics, one is considered to be a rich man by the strength of his store of grains and cows. With only these two things, cows and grain, humanity can solve its eating problem. Human society needs only sufficient grain and sufficient cows to solve its economic problems.
Yeah, in those days, these are the only real wealth. Vedic economics, uh, by which standard, the rich man is one who has a lot of grains and cows, because that is what is needed, right?
The cow is the mother because just as one sucks the breast of one's mother, human society takes cow's milk. Similarly, the bull is the father of human society because the father earns for the children just as the bull tills the ground to produce food grains. Human society will kill its spirit of life by killing the father and the mother. It is mentioned herein that the beautiful cows and bulls were of various checkered colors: red, black, green, yellow, ash, etc. And because of their colors and healthy smiling features, the atmosphere was enlivening.
Yeah. So this is how we can just imagine how beautiful this whole atmosphere is. People were in a village atmosphere with beautiful cows. So this is the life we should aspire for. We should all, at some point, even in this life, we should aspire to be living like this. At some point, simplify our life and go live in a simple place where you know such atmosphere where consciousness of God is everything. There is nothing else. No cars, nothing. Just so this is the real joy. This is true Krishna consciousness. Yeah, and like it is mentioned here, right? Cow is mother and bull is father. But if you see today's, today's time and age, there are slaughterhouses to kill these animals, cows and bulls especially. It's like killing mother and father. That's the reason for, there are so much disputes now between countries. When this happens, when cow and bull are killed, infamy, earthquakes, and uh, wars between countries, all these are going to come, and that's what we are seeing today, right? So the more slaughterhouses are maintained, the more there is going to be tense environment in the world. प्रयुक्तान् भोजराजेन
Ayuktan
Yuktan Bhoja
Rajena
मायिना कामरूपिणा
Maina
Kamarupina
Kamarupina
लीलाया व्यनुदात्तां स्तान्
Nilaya
Lilaya
Datam
Venudattamastan
बालाक्रीडानकान् इव
Bala
Bala
Krida
Kridanan Iva.
Will anybody who has not read would like to read?
Yes, Mataji, I'll read it. Mataji.
Okay.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The great wizards who were able to assume any form were engaged by the king of Bhoja, Kamsa, to kill Krishna, but in the course of his pastimes, the Lord killed them as easily as a child breaks dolls.
Yeah. So Kamsa is uncle of Krishna, right? Generally, when uncles come to visit their nephew, niece, they bring toys just to please them. So similarly, Uncle Kamsa would send demons. He would send demons, but Lord would treat them as toys and kill them. Yeah, go ahead.
The atheist Kamsa wanted to kill Krishna just after his birth. He failed to do so, but later on he got information that Krishna was living in Vrindavana at the house of Nanda Maharaja. He therefore engaged many wizards who could perform wonderful acts and assume any form they liked. All of them appeared before the child Lord in various forms like Agha, Baka, Putana, Sakata, Trinavarta, Denuka, and Gardhaba, and they tried to kill the Lord at every opportunity. But one after another, all of them were killed by the Lord as if he were only playing with dolls.
Yeah. This is how Lord treated them, just like dolls. Right? For Lord, what is the strength of these demons? Yeah. And at the end, all these demons were liberated. That's the greatness of Lord. Even though they were coming and attacking Krishna, including Kamsa. Kamsa, because of his constant thinking of Krishna in fear, that that fear of Krishna purified his mind, and when he left the world, he got liberation. He got Sahajya Mukti. Vipannan Vishapanena
Vipannan Visapanena
Griya Bhujagadipam
Nigrahya Bhujagadipam
Uttapyaya Yayad Gavas
Uttapya Prayad Gavas
Tattoyam Prakriti Sthitam.
Tatoyam Pakriti Sthitam.
Yeah, please read.
The inhabitants of Vrindavana were perplexed by great difficulties because a certain portion of the Yamuna was poisoned by the chief of the reptiles, Kalia. The Lord chastised the snake king within the water and drove him away. And after coming out of the river, he caused the cows to drink the water and proved that the water was again in its natural state.
This is one animal that wasn't killed, was left around. Kalia. Yeah. So Uddhava was remembering all these pastimes of Lord, because devotees like to remember Lord's pastimes than Lord's passing away. Ayajayat gosavena
Ayajayat Gosavena
Goparajam Vijottamai
Goparajam
Vijottamai
Tasya Chor Bharasya
Uttasya Chorubarasya
Chikirshan Sadvyayam Vibhu.
Chikirshan Sadvyayam
Vibhu.
Yeah, please read.
The Supreme Lord Krishna desired to utilize the opulent financial strength of Maharaja Nanda for worship of the cows, and also he wanted to give lesson to Indra, the king of heaven. Thus he advised his father to perform worship of Go or the nurturing land and the cows with the help of learned Brahmanas.
Yeah, so Lord wanted the worship of cows. At the same time, he wanted to teach a lesson to Indra. Right? Sometimes the demigods forget who the Supreme Lord is. So Lord wanted, while he was there, he wanted to teach a lesson to Indra. Yeah. So he asked his father to perform the worship of Govardhan and cow. Yeah.
Since he is the teacher of everyone, the Lord also taught his father Nanda Maharaj. Nanda Maharaja was a well-to-do landholder and owner of many cows, and as was the custom, he used to perform yearly worship of Indra, the king of heaven, with great opulence. The worship of demigods by the general populace is also advised in the Vedic literature, just so people can accept the superior power of the Lord. The demigods are servants of the Lord, deputed to look after the management of various activities of universal affairs.
Yeah. So demigods are the in charges, but sometimes because of their controllership, they would forget their position as the servants of the Supreme Lord. Right? So that's when Lord doesn't like any of his servant to be proud. So he taught a lesson to him. Yeah, please read from here.
Sometimes being worshipped and adored by less intelligent living beings, the demigods become puffed up with power and forget the supremacy of the Lord. This happened when Lord Krishna was present in the universe. And thus the Lord wanted to give a lesson to the king of heaven, Indra. He therefore asked Maharaja Nanda to stop the sacrifice offered to Indra and to use the money properly by performing a ceremony worshipping the cows and the procturing ground on the hill of Govardhana. By this act of Lord Krishna taught human society, and he has instructed in the Bhagavad Gita also that one should worship Supreme Lord by all acts and by all their results.
Yeah. So he corrected in Maharaj Nanda to stop the sacrifice to Indra and asked him to worship cows and pasturing ground on the hill of Govardhan. So it's also a lesson for us to focus on worshipping the Supreme Lord rather than trying to worship several demigods like many people do today. Because ultimately it is the Supreme Lord from whom all these demigods derive their power to manage the universal affairs. They are not separate independent lords. वर्षतीन्द्रे व्रजाकोपाद
वर्षतीन्द्रे व्रजाकोपाद्
ब्रह्मणे तिथिफला
Brahmanya
नमो मे तिदिह्वलः
गोत्रलीला तपत्रेण
गोत्रालीलातत्रेण
त्रातो भद्रानुगृह्णता.
तो भद्रानुगृह्णता.
O Sabarvidra, king of Indra, his honor having been insulted, poured water incessantly on Vrindavana, and thus the inhabitants of Vraja, the land of cows, were greatly distressed. But the compassionate Lord Krishna saved them from danger with his pastime umbrella, the Govardhana hill.
So Lord, Lord this is the pastime of how Lord lifted Govardhana, which we just celebrated recently. Yeah, and Lord taught a lesson to his servant Indra, who was temporarily puffed up by his position. Yeah, and he saved he also, Lord, whenever he does, he achieves multiple purposes. All the devotees were all saved under the hill of Govardhana hill, right? They all came together. They all had the opportunity to see the Lord face to face for 7 days and 7 nights. And nobody was tired in those 7 days. Nobody was hungry. Nobody was, just by witnessing Lord, they were all satisfied in every way. He pleased all the devotees by being present before them for 7 days and nights. Sarachasi karair mrishtam
Seekarair Mristam.
Manyan Rajani Mukham
Manyan
रजनीमुखम्
Gayan Kalapadam Reme
Gayan
गायन्कल्पद्रुमे
Kalapatame.
Preme.
Veena Mandala Mandana.
श्रीणां मण्डलमण्डनम्. In the third season of the year, the Lord enjoyed as the central beauty of the assembly of women by attracting them with his pleasing songs in an autumn night brightened by moonshine.
This is the pastime with the gopis. So they all, Lord sang on flute, and all the devotees left their families, children, and everything, moved by the song of Lord, and to give pleasure to the Lord, they all went in the middle of the night to show their devotion and love for Lord. Yeah. This
Before
is
leaving the
towards
land,
this is towards the end before he left the Vrindavan. This is the last penultimate pastime of the Lord. Yeah.
before leaving the land of cows, Vrindavana, the Lord pleased his young girlfriends, the transcendental gopis, in his Rasalila pastimes. Here Uddhava stopped his description of the Lord's activities. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purports of 3rd Canto, 2nd chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Remembrance of Lord Kṛṣṇa.
Yeah. So Uddhava was remembering all these pastimes, especially of the ones from Vrindavan, all these sweet pastimes of Lord. Yeah, so we'll end the class now. We'll begin the next chapter next week.
Thank you,
These are
Prabhuji.
great pastimes to remember in this month, especially Damodar month. Very auspicious.
Yes,
We're all lucky to read these verses of Bhagavatam today.
Yeah. And coincidentally, Govardhan Leela is also coming.
Leela also happened, yeah.
Yeah.
So we should be, just by reading these, we receive the blessings of the Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you all very much. Any questions or Yeah. Okay. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.